they don't even, and they're not aware of it, and I don't know why. I guess it's the programming. Someone compared it to said this was David Icke actually. He said he had a dream, and in that dream, people were falling out of the sky, and they were falling onto this path, and they kept falling. More and more people came. More and more people came, and pretty soon it was a huge rut. And the point of the entire vision was that even though our minds are wiped, deep in the very core of us, we still have that programming, because we've been here over and over and over and over again with the same crap on, the negative stuff, and the church is there chiming right in. You're a sinner. You're a wretch. You're this. You're that. And it doesn't help. That definitely doesn't help. But anyway, that's a whole nother show. But so, what else have you experienced, Alobar?
Well, what else is going on?
Anything else in particular?
Oh yeah, no, we had a mission that was quite interesting. Like, are you guys familiar with what's it called? Not Black Mirror. It's called
Black Goo?
The Crystal Ball. No, it's a crystal ball technology. Crystal.
Oh, sorry.
What's it called? Anyway, the Dark Team have a crystal ball. They have a crystal ball technology.
Oh, the bad guys.
Yeah. And they've been passing it around, and like they use it like this. They go, okay, so I'm in this situation. If I jump left, what's the outcome? And then they get a vision. If I jump right, what's the outcome? And then they get that vision, right? And they've got this thing where they can see just a few days into the future, And so if they make this statement publicly, it'll work well. If they make that statement publicly, it won't work well. And so they've kind of been using this.
Oh,
wow. And it's called Looking Glass technology. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, I was wondering if that was Looking Glass, because I've heard something to that effect already.
Yeah. Well, look, I actually saw a YouTube by one of the Looking Glass technicians, and like there was a rumor going around that it stopped working. The Looking Glass stopped working, but what it actually meant was, since we got to 2012, the Dark Team never got what they wanted. Like, they never got the outcome they wanted. So they said, if we don't win, that just means that the machine's broken. It doesn't mean that's our future. We don't accept that. Right. But the Looking Glass is one of the ways they do this, right? We found so that they're always kind of one step ahead politically. They always play their very best card and they can sort of see what card you're going to play next, or the light team's going to play next. They've got a little bit of an advantage there, right?
Yeah.
And we go, so where are they getting this data from now, right? Because the Looking Glass is more or less defunct. It's not giving them any useful information anymore. And the answer we came up with was this cruiser that's orbiting Saturn. They had this space cruiser that's orbiting Saturn. It used to be in military service, but it got so beat up and so passed beyond repair that they just parked it in Saturn and used it as a space station. And they had this enormous beam that's literally, it's a tool for sucking up and absorbing light timelines. Like all of the data, all of it, it's there to shut down and steal the energy out of our most favorable short-term timelines. It's a really nasty piece of tech. But they've been there for a very, very long time. And so the staff on that ship it's got a name, a Degregar. I think I wrote it down because I didn't have to remember it. I'm going to call it Degregar. But they had this ship, and they're so complacent. They've been there so long that our stealth team went in there and reprogrammed the machine, right? So that, and so like they're looking at the same readouts every day, and they don't, they've been doing it for maybe hundreds of years, and they're just past caring. They're not interested in investing. And so we did we maintained a program that gave them the information that said they were soaking up the best timelines. But actually what we got the machine to do was to soak up the worst timelines. So it works exactly opposite to what they're doing, you know. And it's
good work.
it works in really well in tandem with the Looking Glass technology. But you know, and they had a backup system on one of the asteroids that they hollowed out as a warehouse. But it's you know, we shut that thing down too. So what it does is it just, you know, the dark team are driving their car, and now that we've sort of taken one of the wheels off, it sort of leans off, it keeps driving off the road they want it to, and it'll sooner or later it'll crash completely. And we're starting to see that stuff as, you know, politicians get arrested, politicians disappear. You know, the Prime Minister of Australia, he's under fire he wrote himself a law that made himself basically the Emperor of Australia, where he has the powers of the Prime Minister, the Attorney General, the Health Minister, the Defence Minister, the Home Minister, etc., etc., etc. Like, so all power is concentrated in him. And this actually came out last week, you know, that he wanted to be Emperor Scott Morrison. Like, it's like, and every week, you know, like, whereas on a different timeline, the FBI would have found what they wanted. They would have found the smoking gun in Trump's villa, right? They would have got the evidence, you know, or they would have created the evidence that they really wanted. Instead, because the timelines and the energy are the way they are, the whole show backfired. You know, and it looks like the beginning of the end for the FBI. It looks like actually they've given Trump's team a smoking gun. And the real question is the judiciary like gonna back their friends, and are the judiciary gonna cheat, or are they not? You know?
Right. That's all they know how to do is to cheat.
It makes everybody sad, you know.
The corruption is so runs so deep.
Come on. Nobody really cared about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Like it was just a sordid tale of two druggies fighting each other. Yeah, totally. But what was the one we really wanted to see? Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, and you didn't see any of that.
We wanted the same quantity of exposure there. That's what we really wanted. But you know, instead we get vacuous idiots. You know, bickering publicly. It was really sad. You know, yeah. And you know, Amber Heard's using the whole feminist movement to advance her own personal gain. Like, it's ugly stuff, man. Ugly stuff. Yeah.
Well, I found out about our streaming here, if you would like to know. Apparently, we're supposed to, when we use pairing, is you do it in the event studio instead of in the regular studio. So we'll know that for next time. Unfortunately, I missed that. I didn't see that. So. But we'll still send copies to you about a month. So we just still have to re-upload them onto the old-fashioned way. Unfortunately, yeah.
No. I love the old-fashioned way is what I learned to do 3 years ago. You know.
Yeah, I'm always looking for help in terms of uploading because it can be time-consuming sometimes. But anyway, so have you been given any indication, either one of you? I know everybody wants to know, do you think this is gonna move forward in, you know, this year, a few months, years? I don't know. I mean, I know we can't pick a date because that just gets people in trouble, but how about if we say it this way? Will we see it in our lifetime?
Yeah, no, totally. I asked upstairs, I said, so for exactly the same question. So what are we expecting? And the answer I got is that the dark team makes 6 chess moves a day. The light team makes 6 chess moves a day. Like we don't know what the board's going to look like in 6 months. You know, we don't know. There's so many permutations and variations. They keep confirming that our victory is totally imminent. There is absolutely no avoiding humanity reclaiming the Earth. No avoiding that. What the steps look like, how that plays out, and how we get there, total mystery. Total mystery, you know.
Well, I wish I knew how to play chess because it might give me a better idea, but I've never played it, so I don't really, I know, because they say that, you know, like you said, that it's imminent that we're going to, you know, that the win is already there, but how many moves, how long can they delay it is what I'm wondering in a game of chess. How long can you delay something when you know it's inevitable?
Yeah, now this is why we found Degregar, the ship Degregar. We go, what are they using to prolong their own death? What is keeping them going still? And that was the answer. Though one of the good indicators that that we're doing well is just how many planes are going down to Antarctica, so that these top echelon people can get the hell off the planet before it goes sour for them. And it's a big number. Like, there's a lot of people leaving Earth just to avoid prosecution, just to avoid punishment.
So they are aware of that, and they figure that they can escape.
And they're doing it. They're doing it. Like, they're getting off by the plane load. You know,
so there aren't any galactics out there that are stopping them or catching them or jailing them, or I don't know. Maybe that's just the 3D concept, right? I don't know.
No, I actually think what I'm looking forward to over the next 10 years, I don't know if you remember in the Iraq War, they had a deck of cards that had the 52 most important people in the Iraqi regime, and they set about finding those 52, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm looking forward to having a deck of cards for our elite and having our Earth agents, our Earth teams, chasing them around the local galaxy and finding them and arresting them that way. I reckon that's going to be heaps entertaining. I think that's going to be hilarious.
Yeah. Well, you know, nothing would be better than to chase them around because they have done hunting parties with humans.
Oh, look, it'll be everyone we catch will be, you know, it will be fireworks for humanity. You know? There'll be fireworks and celebrations in every city. You know? Yeah, it'll be totally gold.
Somebody's asking a question, or the Dot Connector is actually asking a question: are there ships about the world to catch them? Are they just letting them go?
I wouldn't call it ships.
I'm just checking in. Like, the base in South and Antarctica is a Nazi base, and they have a Stargate down there, so it's not really a ship thing. Like, they're portaling around the local galaxy.
So they're going down there and escaping, basically.
Yeah, totally. And you know, I did see something, I don't know whether to believe it or not, like a naval battle above Antarctica back in 2006 or something like that. Like, and they had like these images of spaceships shooting lasers at each other and crazy stuff like that. I have no idea if I believe it or not. No idea. But it does fit with the exopolitics that we got. Yeah, it couldn't be wilder. Like, this stuff just keeps getting crazier and crazier.
I know it does.
Doesn't that just make it all the more entertaining day in, day out? Like, you know, we're living.
It's really going to stink when that device is broken in two pieces and they can't go.
Oh, no. I actually want to. I think humanity should reclaim it. We should go over there and take it off them. And when we do that, then we can read the travel logs and just send troops to follow them. I think it'll be awesome. You know,
well, there's when the ice starts to fall and that surfaces to the top, and then that's when things are done with that process. So, and that, I think that has to do with the core again, because they were talking about everything has to surface that's been hidden in the ground. So eventually that's going to have to happen. So I think their door of exit is going to end too, and they're going to be stuck somewhere. But they're not going to want to be.
Yeah, well, look, they can huddle in the Antarctic ice until we get round to picking them up, as far as I'm concerned.
Maybe build a little igloo or something.
Yeah, totally. Just pretend we're not here. Just pretend we're not here.
Yeah, and hope there aren't any polar bears around. Somebody's asking again too. Will Atlantis rise again, like Casey predicted, around Bimini? I can't say that. Bimini.
I'd love to comment on that, but it's not really on my radar.
What about you, Jenny? Do you know?
What was the question again?
Will Atlantis be rising near South Florida?
Sorry. Yes, because they've always showed me South Florida, and I'm seeing all these spiritual people go there, and I just feel like they're drawing into going in that area. You know what I'm saying? So I do feel that that's going to happen, but at a phase where it's safe, and then it'll surface. Like they keep saying, everything is going to surface. Everything will surface.
Does that mean Lemuria will surface too?
Everything that is below that has been hidden and deliberately hidden will have to come to the surface. And that's why they're taking these artifacts off our planet, because they have to remove all that stuff before everything really happens, because that needs to be secured in the first place. So no one can get into these devices and use them in the wrong way again. So part of our process is to make sure everything is put where it needs to be safely.
They moved everything around, didn't they? There's a lot of artifacts and things that are in the Grand Canyon area too. Have you ever heard anything about that, Jenny?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Have you? No.
No, me neither.
Okay.
No, not the Grand Canyon, no.
So now the question is, will the devices be destroyed when things happen with Earth changes? Wait a minute. Will the devices be destroyed when things happen with Earth changes, or be safe? They're sending me some questions from the chat.
In my mind, I think having the HARP destruction party is going to be a good party. I think one of the first things we're going to do is trash is bulldoze those HARP machines, and set fire to the chemtrail labs, or the chemtrail.
Oh my God! Yeah.
The chemtrail factories, those things that are grinding aluminium into tiny little particles for us to breathe. Like I'm looking. There's going to be quite a few technologies that we all regard as basically anti-human.
What about 5G towers?
Yeah, they won't be missed. Already they've had bunches of them burned down.
Yeah.
The one in our local area, they drilled a hole in the tower, poured a bit of petrol in, set it on fire, and it created so much heat at the top that it melted all the circuitry, and they had to replace it. That's the area I live in. Everybody's into that sort of move. And I remember the week that happened, like everybody you talk to in town is just going, hey!
Just like I heard something about some rodent cutting through some cord and CERN or something like that, to throw CERN off, or so it wouldn't start up or whatever.
Our team went to the recent CERN firing. We showed up for that. It was quite a show, really. I did a whole video on that.
There's a lot of devices, because we weren't taught to know about it, and as you can see, like giant bones and stuff like that. There's a lot hidden in our ground that has to come off this planet and be preserved and put into another planet where it's safe. So it can be contained in the way that it needs to be. So those devices cannot be used again. So when we get down to that process, and then, like I said, that our planet has to go back into a hibernation stage also. And, we've done a lot of damage here too, so it's not just like we just keep going on and living the way we are. I mean, there's a lot of damage to repair.
But I have faith in humanity once our leadership is actually, our leadership is, I don't know, I'll just call it a sane leadership. Then I think a lot of the problems that we're facing now will just be laughed off, you know, just laughed away. You know, some of the fixes are so simple, it's ridiculous. And yeah.
And once all these nefarious characters are gone, they're the ones that were always blocking it or are causing even more chaos and so on. So if humanity has a chance to actually function without all the extra unconscious programming and without all the extra bad guys in there doing things that they shouldn't be doing to feed themselves, because they were all service to self.
Yeah, you get it. You get it. Yeah.
All right. Do we have anything else that we want to share? Anybody?
I don't think so right now. I think the only thing that's, it's not a timeline. It's actually things are checked off the list to make sure they're completed properly. Like I tell people, this isn't an app you can go in and then you think when you get off the app, everything's going to be done. It doesn't work that way. So that's what people's mindset needs to change on, is the fact if they keep looking at the TV and the 3D concept, they're going to be so confused anyway. Stop looking at that and thinking that's your true insight.
Yeah, that's not your north of truth. Yeah. If you orient yourself on that north, you're going to get lost very quickly.
Yeah, but they tend on going back into it and listening to it again, and it's just like, what are you doing? Stop looking at a view that doesn't exist. It's just a show. But it's the habits and routine that they keep going back into. And if they sit there and feel and listen to frequency and watch nature, watch our earth, how it's changing, that is telling you more than what the lying TV is telling you.
Oh, it takes a lot of mental gymnastics for those guys to keep believing what the TV is telling them. Like, there's so many contradictions, it hurts. There's so much misinformation, it's ridiculous. But,
I think they're going to start recognizing it more and more all the time because of the light codes that are coming onto the planet. It's going to get to the point where they just can't deny it. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to them. Yeah, they're going to see so much. They're going to start seeing more.
Negative is less food. The negative has less food to work off now. They're starving now. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I tell people, no matter what it is, stop staying out of the trigger mode. They're there to trigger you, to put you in fear, to use that energy. And if you completely dismantle that, they're going to starve more and starve more and starve more. And that's what we need.
Yeah. It's like telling yourself too, I don't do anger anymore. Or, purifying our reactions and actions in general. And not that, not that you don't fight bad guys, but just that, just being in your heart and being in the now. I guess being in the heart is the most important thing.
Being out of fear. And being ultimately out of fear. I think that's what they really have to look at. The illusion of 3D is a fear concept.
Yeah, the system is built to create fear in you, to sustain fear in you, and to feed off that fear in you.
There you go, right there. Feed off of it.
The sooner you uncouple from that, the less fear, the happier you'll be, and the easier your life will be, and the harder it will be for the nefarious characters who are trying to mismanage and rule our world.
Well, do you think that eventually all these nefarious characters are on their way out? They're going to be gone. People aren't going to be influenced by them after a while. Is that true?
Well, yeah, like our teams are one of the groups. There's more. We're not the only ones out there, but we are one of the groups that are actively hunting them down and assassinating them where we can find them. We're the ones who are destroying their infrastructure, their extra dimensional infrastructure. We're the ones who are destroying their supply channels. We're doing everything that we find that they value, we destroy. Like, and we're not the only ones doing it. There are lots of people out there doing it.
That's good. I'm happy to
But
hear that.
it just means that the way things used to be, for them, it can never return to the way things used to be. And some predictions are talking about a 25,000-year golden age. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Wow. Yeah. Well, then there's other ones that say, well, there's only going to be 1,000 years of peace and golden age, and then they go, why only 1,000 years? Why not forever? I'm sorry, I don't get that.
And here's the thing that I keep coming back to. If humanity can manage Earth's energetic grids and be in constant communication with Mother Earth, then those kind of wars are very preventable. The energy for war is not, just cannot, we can circumvent that. We can be a step ahead of it and prevent it from ever happening. But, we just have to decide that we want to do that.
Yeah. And once people, DNA is more and more is activated or reconnected or whatever it is, I think a lot of these problems are going to subside, or a lot of these behaviors, because of the perception. The behavior is as a result of the perception, and when the perception changes, so will the behavior.
Exactly.
As I understand.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, all good things are coming. The future looks sunnier than it has for a long, long time.
It's really good to hear you say that. More and more people are saying that. So, and because we do get doom and gloom every so often, and we don't want it to be that way. We need to focus on what we want, not what we don't want, even though that kind of stuff it does happen, so we just ignore it though. For the most part. What was that, Jenny?
No, I think the whole, I think if people got into their oneness, I mean, literally the oneness is you can't be messed with. You can't be mentally messed with. Nothing in your surrounding can mess with you. That's where people, they're to understand being in that temple in your head and not being unfuckable. And I mean in the way that they cannot fuck with you. Okay? Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the rewards of self-healing, to become unfuckable with.
Yes.
Unfuckwithable.
Yeah.
Unfuckable. Oh, are we bad for saying that? Anyway. All right. That's actually a good thing. It's just like they say that if you get to the point where what somebody says about you, what somebody, some opinion about you or anything like that, it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't affect you. You don't give them power, give away your power by allowing that to bring your vibration down, because that's what the intention is when that's done. So anyway. Okay, I don't know if we have anything else to add, or we want to call
I
it
think
a wrap.
we covered a big area and all that, so I think we're good.
Good to go. Okay.
All
right.
Good to see you both.
It's nice to see you, and keep up the wonderful work, everybody. I really appreciate it, and so does the planet, and the people that don't even know what you're doing. So I'll thank you for them. Anyway, okay. With that, and with letting people know that great things are coming forward. It's not, don't believe all the chaos and ugliness that you're seeing as the way it's going to be. It's not. And focus on what you want and stay positive, healthy, and happy. Okay. All right. So I guess that's a wrap. Anybody have anything else they want to add? No?
I think
all righty then.
Be at peace, everybody.
We'll see you again. Yeah. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Ciao for now.